week. Hello, y'all. What's up? All right. So welcome to the September general meeting. So glad all of you guys are here. Hopefully you guys are here to hear about resources for those with criminal backgrounds. We have a good group of folks for you guys today. I will say that the Reentry First Stop Center was sent to come, that they might not be able to make it. However, if you have any questions in particular, you can feel free to send them to me and I can send them to them, or just give you the email address of the person so you can contact them directly. But we're going to go ahead and get started so we can make sure to respect everyone's time here today. Make sure you're ready with your questions. Again, we have a good group of folks. These are the people to address them to. But not only that, you're in an audience full of your peers. You never know, they may have dealt with the same situation and can tell you the steps or processes they took to kind of handle the situation as well. So I'm going to stop stalling, stop rambling. Our first speaker today is Mr. Mark Tittle with the Divergence Center.
Good morning, it's good to see everyone today. My name is Mark Tittle. I'm the director of the Tarrant County Mental Health Jail Divergence Center. We exist to provide an alternative to police officers when they encounter someone in the community that they believe is enduring some type of behavioral health crisis, and they're also involved in a low-level, non-violent misdemeanor offense. For the time being, since we're just getting off the ground, we're only focusing on criminal trespass. Because those also wind up being the patients who take up the largest amount of resources in the Tarrant County Jail, and they're also the ones that suffer the greatest once they get into the jail. How does it work? So the police officers will encounter these people in the community. We're not asking them to be a diagnostician. We're not asking them to be a medical expert or anything. If they just feel in their gut that this is a person that needs help, and the only reason they're being called for this criminal trespass is because they're working with someone who is going through some type of mental health episode, so they can choose to bring that patient to our facility. It's a 100% voluntary process. The police officer will bring them to our facility, we'll meet them at the back door. The first thing we do is we send one of our peer specialists out to meet them. Our peers are the people who have that lived experience. They've been through, they may carry a diagnosis of their own, they may have been involved in the justice system themselves. They will meet that patient at the back door, introduce themselves, let the patient know that they're glad that they're here, and then the officer will actually be dismissed to go inside and fill out a single piece of paper, check them in. It's a whole process for the police officer. It takes 5 minutes. The goal is to get them in and out and back on the street as quickly as possible to try to incentivize them bringing these patients to us as opposed to putting them in the Tarrant County Jail. They go to the jail, it could be 2 hours if they're maintaining care, custody, and control of the patient, and then the patient goes into jail, and depending on their level of the symptoms that they're experiencing, they may be found incompetent. Criminal trespass carries a range of punishments of 6 months. So they could wind up in jail, incompetent, unable to go to trial for 6 months, or if they could just go plead guilty, they'd be back out on the street in a matter of hours. Our goal is to bring them to our facility, immediately connect them with services, connect them with a lot of folks like you. We provide case management, we provide peer services, we've got prescribers on site, and we've got medical staff on site that can triage their needs. If they have any medical needs that require immediate attention, we'll get them straight to the hospital. We don't ask the police officers to do that, we'll take care of that for them. We'll diagnose whatever needs they have, we'll prescribe medication, we'll treat them in the facility, and then we will work on connecting them to the next thing, whatever that may be. We'll get them housing resources, employment resources, connect them with family. We've had one patient who came to us that we kind of use as a success story. She came to us off the street, criminal trespass. She had recently been victimized. She was dealing with a lot of trauma. She stayed with us for 3 weeks while we worked on connecting her to the next thing. That next thing happened to be she had family in another state. She had a previous employer that wanted to hire her back and put her back to work. The problem was the state was really far away, and she needed a way to get there. We did a little bit more research and found out that her parents had already secured a plane ticket, and we just were looking for her to try to get her back. So we got that. We put her through some counseling, trauma counseling, and it took a while to get her to build up that trust with us. Then we connected her with her family, got that plane ticket. Then we connected her with her employer and realized she had a ticket that had gone on a warrant, a traffic ticket. She was a truck driver. So she couldn't work until she got that ticket taken care of. Counseled her a little bit more and processed through that. She agreed to go sit out that ticket, and then her employer would pick her up from the jail and put her to work immediately. It all worked out. This happened back in March. She checks back with us every month just to let us know how good she's doing. She's begun making good decisions in her life. She's remained sober. She's remained employed. She's removed some of the family in her life that got her in the bad situation she was in the first place. And she has started to ask us, how can I become a peer in a facility like yours so I can help people the way that you can help me? That's our goal with these patients. Not all of them are that easy. Not all of them are that successful because, as you guys know, some of these patients that are often charged with criminal trespass are the hardest patients to connect. They're the ones that need our services the most, and they're the ones that we'll take back again and again and again, as often as it takes to help them break the cycle that keeps them going back to jail. Some of this is kind of a presentation for justice-involved people, but we're trying to keep them from getting involved in the first place. Once they're into our facility, we connect them with JPS. We give them JPS connections so they get free medical services, which is huge for a lot of these patients. We follow up with case management with our patients that come to our facility up to a year in the community. So if we wind up reaching out to any of you guys to try to connect them with your services, just know that they will have a case manager that will follow up with them, help connect them with appointments, help them meet whatever obligations there are for your programs for up to a year. We can give them rides to appointments, we can help them find housing. We'll do whatever it takes to try to keep them connected in the community. And there's flyers like this that explain our program back in the back. And now I can open up to any questions if anybody has any. Yes, ma'am.
You said it was a discretion of the police?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So we do have a few exclusionary criteria that we train the police on watching out for. We can only take non-violent misdemeanor offenses. So if a patient is suicidal, homicidal, or combative at the time the police encounter them, they can choose, this person is not appropriate for your facility. Or if they can see that this person has a serious wound that needs medical attention, they can choose to take it to the hospital as well.
So on the average, what do you say? What is your average population? How many people do you have?
We have a lot of room to be in right now because we're a brand new program. We have a 42-bed facility. The most we've had at any given time is 8 patients. We have 2 right now. So we have 40 open beds. The trick for us is winning over hearts and minds for the police. The county is on board, the district attorney is on board, the sheriff is on board, the police chief is on board. We're working on getting the rank and file day-to-day officers on the street on board. And the management, the command of all of the police departments is favorable to our program, but it's a big shift, and it's a lot of culture that needs to change.
Yeah, and you know this is on October?
January.
January.
Yes, ma'am.
I think one of the things that I mean, I knew that this was coming, but I don't think we got a lot of that person about that facility. You know, we could do this. Well, I work in it there. 24, so I get a lot of what you're talking about, you know. And are y'all connected to NHMR and just?
I'm employed by NHMR.
Huh?
We are an NHMR program.
Okay.
So the way it works, the county owns the building,
Right.
and we operate the program.
You said officers refer to y'all. What law enforcement agencies is this linked to?
Any and every one in Tarrant County. We've had some really good success with the JPS Police Department, the Tarrant County Sheriff's Department, that's where a lot of patients are away. Fort Worth is starting to pick up. We think once we can get Fort Worth and Arlington to really take off, we'll save it.
Does it have to be a police referral?
We can only take patients who are in custody of police. It's a jail diversion center, so they have to come in.
So if that, let's just say I volunteer, I go in, they got me for a criminal trespass, and I stay with you. Why is my criminal case?
No cases ever filed. When the police bring them to us, all all justice involvement is done as soon as that police officer decides
For
to.
purposes of not getting to work.
Correct. And it's important to note that this is a 100% voluntary facility. The patient can leave at any time. The patient can leave while the police officer is still there checking them in. So that's one of the decisions the police officer has to make. Is this truly someone that needs help? The patient can stay as long, we don't have a set limit on how long they can stay. But when I say it's voluntary, we don't do forced meds. We don't restrict anybody from anything once they're in charge.
I just wanted to make a comment. I've been there before to your facility and y'all had such great patience and like y'all were welcoming and we had someone that we were working with that is autistic and y'all were just so patient and so kind and I just wanted to say thank you for that because it definitely is like a safe place for sure.
I appreciate it. You know, we try to make it as inviting to the patients as possible. One of the big things that we've done, it's a hit with the patients, is we have a popcorn machine. We try to make the building smell like fresh popcorn when they walk in, so they have that comforting smell. One of the magistrates in Tarrant County donated a Otis Spunkmeyer cookie machine, so we have fresh cookies going all the time. I have them change out the batch of cookies every shift. We keep coffee flowing all the time, changing the decaf about 10 o'clock in the morning, but we try to make the patients as comfortable as possible. We've gone to great lengths to make, even when they check in, we're building a garage, and we've gone to great lengths to make sure that the garage doesn't look like a salad port that the police are pulling into. It's a home feeling when they come into that garage. There's no locks on the doors, patients come and go.
So I understand it's a police referral, but what if we have a client who is incarcerated or like gets incarcerated? Can we contact you guys and?
We're working on coming up with some alternatives to get people in besides just being a police referral for criminal trespass. There are plenty of other offenses that are nonviolent misdemeanors that we think we can serve as well. I mean, think about the people who make false calls to 911 or minor theft, little like minor marijuana cases, stuff like that. We'd love to be able to take those patients. It's a Tarrant County program, so we have a lot of officials in Tarrant County involved, and one of their preferences for the time being is that since we're just starting off, we stick to criminal justice, to criminal trespass, and we stick to police referrals only. But we have talked about posting up at the booking desk in the jail. MHMART has a big presence in the jail. We have staff at the booking desk. And being able to identify patients before they get into the jail and loading them up in the van and bringing them to us. We don't have the approval of the county to do that yet, but it is something that we've discussed. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Abby, you said that they, in the process of checking in from a police officer, if they then decide they don't want to stay voluntary, when they leave at that time of checking in, when they don't finish acting, then do they receive a citation or?
They don't. And we try not to just pat them on the back and shoo them out the front door when they want to do that. We'll still follow up with them and say, can we take you somewhere? Not the place you just got criminal trespass from, but is there somewhere we can take you? Thank you all for your time.
Thank you so much, Mark. I'm not sure if he's gonna, are you gonna stay afterwards? He might be able to stay afterwards, so if you guys have any other questions that you can think of, please feel free to get with him. So we're gonna move it right along. So next we have Judge Summers from the municipal court judge with community court. Y'all, there's some more chairs right here and up here if you guys can see this.
Okay, I'm not going to take up as much time, very much time for this time, but we do, in the city of Fort Worth, we have developed a program, that's sort of like what Mr. Philip just told you. Our program is set up for anybody who has a Class C ticket in the city of Fort Worth, and, they're homeless, and they the program was originally, believe it or not, started out with the Tarrant County Homeless Coalition Program, a long time ago. And the purpose of this is that, as many of y'all know, that sometimes when people get tickets, especially, assault tickets or theft tickets, it's very hard for them, and it used to be harder when they got no license and no insurance tickets and all. Tickets kind of stay in and keeps them from getting their fee, because normally what happens is they've gone in their warrants, they can't go get an ID because they have warrants, they can't go get food stamps because they don't have an ID, and it goes on and on and on. Can't get housing because they have no ID. So what our program is set up for is if the person has a Class C ticket in the city of Fort Worth, now my understanding is, there are other programs, like Dallas has one program, and I believe Arlington just started doing something similar to what we're doing. And our program is also sort of like a diversion program. They get referred, we only take those who are being referred from caseworkers. Okay, so it can be any caseworker. It could be MHMR, it could be TrueWorth, it could be any caseworker or case manager. The reason we ask to have it referred to us by a caseworker is because we need somebody who's going to help them stay on track. That's the bottom line. Is that we want them to be able to follow through with what we're going to ask them to do. I tell the people who come before me, I said, this is not an easy program. Everybody thinks it's easy, but it's not. Because there are certain things we are going to expect you to do. So you get an application. I have two of my caseworkers here, Heather and Yvonne and Joel Stanley. And basically, they're responsible for screening through and getting the applications. There's an application process. You send an application over to them. We'll put you on what we call a court arraignment time. And now what we've done is recently, just in the last 3 or 4 months, we now meet every third Friday at TrueWorth. Does anybody know what TrueWorth is? You know that program? Great program. Great program. They got all kinds of resources available. And so we go over there every third Friday at 8:30, and we start our arraignment docket. And in the arraignment docket, basically the way it works is my caseworker will talk to them. We have a prosecutor who's there. They draft up an order. And the order is what we call in the city of Fort Worth the GORD orders. I don't know if anybody's ever had a traffic ticket in the city of Fort Worth or anybody else. We have a GORD disposition order. Everybody gets a traffic ticket. Okay. So y'all good people. My point being is that the purpose of this is to get rid of those tickets so that they can go on and get back on their feet. We have an order that we draft, and the order basics are this. They have to get some form of income. I don't care if it's Social Security, SSI, SSDI, job. We're going to ask you to get some form of income. You have to get some form of housing. You don't have to be in the housing, but you need to be on the list, or you've got to have some form of housing that's just so that you have a place to stay. You have to get some form of ID, driver's license, ID card, Social Security. If you have a mental health issue, then you need to keep in touch with your caseworker on a regular basis. You have to, if you have a drug or alcohol problem, we're going to ask you to go to some kind of NA or AA meetings on a regular basis. We're also going to, if you are able, we may ask you to do some community service, and it's usually at a nonprofit organization. And you have to get some form of health, that be JP Connection or whatever. We depend a lot on TrueWorth and a resource center and MHMR, and I think there's a new, what's a new program that's a mental health? True mental health, yeah. We depend a lot on those people. And so what happens is we draft up an order, And it's good for 90 days. And then in 90 days, you come back for what we call a compliance hearing. And we're not asking you to just tell us what you did. You've got to bring us documentation. Show us proof that you've done what you need to do. And then, if you do that, we're gonna wipe out your tickets. You're not gonna have to pay for them. If they, I don't care how many people know what adjudicated and unadjudicated means, but basically, if you have a case that you've never been found guilty of, and judges never entered an order, if you're lucky, then if you go through our program, we'll just only dismiss the court cost and the fine, but it won't go on your record either. So, now, if you've already got cases that you've already been found guilty of, then we're just gonna have to, you've already got a conviction, so there's nothing we can do about that, but we can wipe out the ticket. We have a lot of programs in the city of Fort Worth, but this is, to me, is the best program we have. And the reason being is because we want people to get back on their feet. We don't want them to be out there, we were talking, so, I work in the jail, and I work in it from 8 to 4, and I see so many people that, they do have mental health issues. And it's really kind of hard because you get some that have drug issues, alcohol issues, and then they have mental health issues. I've always said, I don't know which one came first, the drugs or the mental health, and nobody knows that. But the purpose again is to get them back on their feet, get them out on the streets. We've had some very good successes. I mean, last week, was it last Friday? Yeah, that's Friday. We had 3 complete their program. And it's not easy, but they did it. And all we're hoping is that we make a difference in somebody's life. That's what we're trying to do. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So this flyer says that they have to be referred by a case manager from a local homeless shelter.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Yes and no. The agreement with True Worth is that they do have to be, because that was part of our agreement with them. True Worth pretty well caters to the homeless shelter, right? Has anybody ever been to True Worth? Yeah, I mean, it's a nice facility, it's right there in the middle. So for the most part, yes. But that doesn't mean that we won't consider somebody else. Okay? Because there are some people who are in low-income housing, and I don't know how many of y'all have ever seen tickets, but I've seen tickets where people owe $10,000 to $15,000. That's a lot of money. One ticket. Now, thank God the legislature finally changed the law, but at one time, if you got an insurance ticket, it cost you over $1,000 because you were paying court costs, the fine, and you had to pay these surcharges. And we got rid of those. But the tickets are still not cheap. Do you know what a theft is? $500 and some odd dollars for a small theft, isn't it?
Okay, so you just said, could be a person who is in affordable housing.
Yes.
So technically, it could be a person who is experiencing a lot of challenges, crisis, but they don't actually have to be homeless.
I don't know, not really. I don't think so, not at all. And if that becomes a trouble, True Worth will do it in court.
We've had people referred to it from like Safe Haven, things of that nature too, so they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to be homeless.
Yeah, right. Yes, ma'am.
So on a housing program.
If we get an application from a caseworker and we look at it and they're appropriate, we'll take it. How's that? Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
I have some more questions.
Sure.
Okay. Does a scan card qualify as some form of an ID, or does it need to be like?
It has to be some type of form of picture ID. If it's not an ID,
So
then
the
that's fine
scan
too.
cards that they get through True?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
And then my last question is for the health coverage, JPS connection and Medicaid.
Medicaid, any kind of health insurance.
Medicare,
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically, what we're wanting them to do is to get the basics. you know, we want them off the streets. Okay, we want them off the street. It's very dangerous. You know, they have any of it, you know, and y'all experienced it, I've experienced it, but we've had some really successful people. I've had grown men stand in front of me, 60, 70 years old, and cry because he says, I've never gotten a certificate in my life. So, and we had one young lady, I think somebody saw me, one young lady, she was in a very abusive situation. She got hooked up with, I think it was Lena Pope home, and got out, and got her job, got her kids, got into her own place, and it was just great. It was great. So we're trying to work with the agencies, and if y'all know of anything, or if you think of anything that you think we could do a little bit better, we'd be glad to do it. You know, because I know tickets don't sound like a lot, but it is. Do you know how many people I see in the jail for criminal trespass? Or my favorite, public street for personal use, camping. You know, well, where do you want these people to go? Right. I mean, you know, but, and they're expensive. Oh, then there's aggressive panhandling, that's like $569, you know. Now, and I understand why we do it the way we do it, but if they're homeless, how are they gonna come up with $569? I don't even think I could come up with $569, you know? So, but our program is basically said, we have other programs available to the city. You know, they can do joint payment plans, they can do community service. We have an industry program. That's something else that you might want to be interested in. If somebody is really totally injured and they fall under the federal guidelines and they cannot physically or mentally able to do community service, that's another option. Because if a judge finds that you are indigent, they will wipe out your tickets. So those are some options. Yes, ma'am.
About how long does the process take, if they do follow that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How long does the process take if they do follow that?
Well, normally we get the applications like a month before, and then we'll set them up for the following month. And like I said, and normally they have 90 days to complete the program. However, there are times when people, you know, can't for some reason or other finish their thing, and we can extend it a little bit. So, you know. Yes, ma'am.
What's the name of the program?
It's called Community Court.
Community court? And one more question, can they have multiple tickets?
Yes.
That is amazing.
They can have 1, they can have 5, they can have 10.
God bless
We
you,
don't
that's
care.
great.
20 kids. We don't care. Like I said, the purpose of the program is to get people back on their feet, to get them off the street. They keep trying to tell me my time's up.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I'm a talker. I believe there's a brochure back there, and it's got the telephone number and everything, so if you have any questions, Yvonne or anyone can answer them for you. They're kind of my gatekeepers that keep things going and let me know what's going on. So, we do, I will tell you, we do make it a big deal when people graduate, because we applaud them, we tell them we're proud of them, and we give them a certificate of completion. So, like I said, I've had grown men stand in front of me. It's quite a good program. I need to talk to you. All right, anybody else? Any questions at all? John, you got this man?
But when you have, you know, they come to the program and they might not necessarily have tickets in Portland, okay? They may have them somewhere else. And that's kind of like bothering because they have to be here to,
Yeah.
maybe one day come up
Yeah.
with some kind of
Well, yeah, yeah, that is the other thing too, is that our program only applies for city of Fort Worth. Now, I do know that Dallas has a different type, maybe the same type program. I think theirs even bigger than ours, I think. And in Arlington, just recently, one of the judges, who used to be one of our judges, came to work here in Arlington, and she started the program, I think just this last month. And so, Judge Delaney, if anybody knows her, she's a great lady. So, but they're starting to do something in Arlington. But keep in mind, I will tell you this, and I will super in you. Every court does their own thing in their own way. And it doesn't matter what city you're in, or what county you're in, or what state you're in. It all depends on the judge. Sorry. But I will tell you that the community service option and the time payment plan option and the indigency option are by law. So the majority of the cases, like for example, you have somebody in Jefferson Hills, you know that they're indigent, they're on a low level of income, and they physically can't do community service, ask them, what about the indigency? Because it is available to everybody. Yes, ma'am.
You know, I'm just thinking of how important it is for our clients, our patients, to be treated with respect.
Exactly.
In this kind of situation, and I have a client, sorry, it was here in Arlington, where the judge made her cry because there was so much verbal abuse directed at her when she was coming and trying to.
I'm just saying, very good to hear me.
Exactly. So it's huge.
I know it's a shame, yes, it is a shame. Now, I will tell you, I'm not gonna tell you I'm perfect, because I would never be a lot, but I try to respect people, because I expect people to, if you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. That's all there's to it. You know, the one thing I learned in my life is that any minute I could be in the same spot. It just takes one tragedy to ruin your life. Am I right? So, call me, my clerk knows how to get in touch with me, anything, and I'm sorry that that judge did that. But, you talk to Judge Delaney, she'll get it straight.
Thank you so much, Judge, and I do believe she's going to stay after a little bit, so if you guys have any additional questions, please make sure you chat with her. All right, so moving right along, we have Mr. Rusty Young from the National Veterans Outreach Center.
Tough act to follow. Just real quick, I give a quick background on the American GI Forum National Veterans Outreach Program. This is the first meeting we've probably been at in Tarrant County. It started in 1972. A Vietnam veteran had come back, got out of the military, and he got behind on his payments for his prosthetic leg. So they came to try to take it, and that was the inspiration that started the program. Since it's grown quite a bit. We're in 5 cities: Houston, El Paso, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin. And we do, in Fort Worth, I just do employment. Although Dallas does housing, and housing is in the future for the Fort Worth location. When you hear National Veterans Outreach Program, out of 10 clients we service, only 2 will be veterans. 8 out of 10 of our clients are civilians. They've never served in the military. Because I know that some people live that, oh, not a veteran, they can't do anything for me. No, we absolutely can. And the subject today being formerly incarcerated, I've seen some incredible success stories. Incredible. And I tell my case managers, get them employed now, because everybody's looked at what's going on with interest rates. It's gonna start eating into the unemployment, and it's gonna happen very quick. But right now, and it's been going on for a while now with everything open, second chance, you have a lot of second chance employers, and a lot that were never second chance employers, but because of the market the way it is right now, the labor market, they have become second chance employers to get theirs done. So it's something, it's worth researching. A little of what we do is each one's assigned a case manager. This case manager gets them, if they need a resume, and I now have a job developer on staff. The job developer works directly with the various employers, in addition to what the case manager does, to get them employment. Before they go for their first interview, we provide the clothing, it's theirs to keep. Also, they're gonna need, when they start their job, they're gonna need a certain amount of clothes. They may need 3 pair of slacks, 2 shirts, something to get them going. That's paid for through the American GI Form. It's theirs. There's no cost to that client at all. Success stories, I could talk all day about that. I've been in the Fort Worth office a year and a half, and I've seen a lot of it. So, the one caveat to that is, I'm sorry if you see me doing this before I get into the caveat, is I'm used to walking when I talk, so I'm not dodging anything up here. You can see this. One caveat to that is after they are employed, that case manager is responsible. If they're a veteran, that case manager is responsible for follow-ups for 180 days. If it's on the civilian side, it's 90 days. The case manager has to submit up reports. How are they doing? Tracks them if they need anything else for their job. And that does include some tools. Limited on that, obviously, because we are a grant-based organization. We're limited on a lot of tools and stuff, but we can get some to get them started. Tools, small items and stuff. Incarcerated, one,